Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining me, Jag Singh, for another dosage of Positive Minds on the SIKH channel. Positive Minds is a program in which I like to bring on informative and inspirational guests who give us advice and tips on how we can improve our lives and those people around us. After the show, you can download my book, Unbreakable, which is available on Amazon. Unbreakable is a book, a story, a true story, my story about my upbringing in East London in the 1970s, surrounded by racist teachers, bullies, skinheads. And the story shows you how we broke through, my family and me broke through to the other side, on the other side. Now you can download that after the show. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at jagsing_I can for constant motivation. Now, as I said before, I like to bring on inspirational people onto the show and give us some advice on how their journey has been, what kind of struggles they've been through to get where they are. Today, I have an amazing guest with me, Aarti Shah. Aarti Shah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me on this. How are you doing?
Yeah, fine. Aarti Shah is a UK-based actor, and she's doing a great job. Okay, so I'd like to ask you a few questions on the show. Aarti, I understand that you're an actor based in the UK. How did you start as an actor? When did it all begin?
Yeah, so as cheesy as it sounds, it literally began, I'd say, from the age of 8. So the way that I got into it is my parents sent me to Stagecoach, which is quite a well-known Saturday theatre art school. We do 1 hour of dance, 1 hour of drama, and 1 hour of singing. And then at the end of term, we'd have a show that we put on for our parents. And I think that's what sparked my interest. I was like, I kind of like this sort of acting slash musical theatre thing. And I guess sort of doing school plays and then just with myself and my cousins, when we go around to family's house, we would just put on little plays and talent shows for them. So I think all of that kind of sparked my initial interest for the arts.
What was the reaction of your parents and the people, the elders, when you said that, I want to become an actor? Because without sounding stereotyped, okay, I mean, what was the reaction of your family?
Yeah, I mean, luckily my parents were really supportive. They weren't the type to be like, no, no, you can't do it. They've always let me do what I want to do, but it was more sort of, they've been very supportive, but more from my dad's end in terms of doing a degree. He did want me to do something a little bit more stable so that I would have something to fall back on if the acting didn't work out. But I've never been told, no, you can't do an acting degree. They've always, been supportive. But in the back of the mind, it's always been, you need something stable as well, which I know myself. And I'm also like the only creative in the family, so it was a little bit nerve wracking. You'd be like, yeah, I want to do acting because I've got many sort of accountants in my family.
As I said, without sounding stereotyped, I mean, you've obviously bursted out the bubble, which I encourage everyone listening out there, okay, because
Mm.
I think what you've done is you've followed your passion and your heart. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you've got to do that because then you're never going to be satisfied in life and in what you're doing if you don't follow what your true passion is. So I think everyone should do that. And if you want to do it, you will find a way to work out how to do it.
Yeah, excellent. Because I remember one of my in the 70s, one of my uncles come up to me, and he said to him, "Jag, what you need to do is just get a foot." And there's some great pictures of Aarti doing that. I remember an
Looking,
uncle come up to me and he said to me, "Jag, what you need to do is just get the basic income you can get in life and become a forklift driver and work in the factory." I said, "No, I don't want to do that." And
yeah.
there's some great pictures of Aarti doing an acting school. Hey, there you are. Aarti, on that supportive factor again. I mean, my children, I've got young children, and I've always said to them that follow your heart, follow what you want to be. And my
Mm.
daughter about some crazy things she wanted to be when she was younger, an astronaut or whatever. But I didn't say to her that they were crazy. I said, "Yeah, go for it, go for it. You can do whatever you want to do. You want to become an Olympic runner or whatever." I've always encouraged them because everyone listening out there, if your children. Doesn't matter what they come up with, what their ambitions are, what their dreams are. We need to encourage them. And just after, I think your parents are a great example of that, saying that you don't have to follow the
Yeah.
education system that way, and just follow your heart. So now, talking about education as well. I mean, you've got. Tell me about what kind of education you achieved as well. I think.
Yeah, so I did in terms of the arts, I did GCSE drama, and then for A levels, I did psychology, English lit, and then theatre studies. And what I found doing English lit and theatre studies is that it really complemented each other because we studied a lot of the plays and they do interlink English and theatre. So that's, yeah, I found that amazing to do those. And then I recently graduated from my BA Honours Acting degree in 2019 from the University of Central Lancashire, also known as UCLan. So yeah, that's sort of, I'm kind of done with the education. I just want to sort of get more into the industry now.
But that wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for you to do all that, was it?
No, no, it wasn't, especially I'd say theatre studies because I sort of wish they did make it a bit more creative because it's very academic based. So 60% of it was writing essays as opposed to acting. So I did really struggle with that side because I just wanted to get up and perform. And luckily at uni, that was 70% practical. So it was constantly on our feet and we only had about two essays. But again, there were struggles at uni as well. So yeah, I'd say it's a balance.
Superb, superb. So not only have you followed your dream, I mean, only you know what kind of hard work you did to get that BA, and
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and again, there are people out there watching right now who are sitting there thinking, I haven't got the BA, I haven't got the degree, I haven't been through the theatre school and everything. But I also believe that all you've done that, in a way, we do sometimes subconsciously we do things like that to keep our parents
Mm,
happy, we're
yeah.
educated, and we got the stamp, we got the hat in the air. That's fine, that's good that you did that, and you had a great passion for it. But there are some people out there who haven't got those qualifications, who want to become an actor, and they think to themselves,
Mm.
oh, I need to have qualifications. What would your advice be to someone out there who's sitting there right now thinking that, I want to become an actor, but I haven't got the qualifications? What would your advice be, Aarti?
I think the real beauty of the industry is that you do not have to have qualifications to get into acting because casting directors and industry professionals, they look at maybe some of your credits, but what they see when you deliver in the room, whether that's an audition or self tape. To break into the industry, you don't need the qualifications. But what I would say is that having done drama at school, having done the training, it does help. It does help you to improve as an actor, to understand the industry and to get that confidence. So I would say it does help, but it's not for everyone because some people are just very naturally talented. And also by going to uni, it is 3 years of your life. You are faced with a lot of debt after. So what I'd say with training is if you feel like you need it, then definitely do it. It's an incredible thing to do, but by all means, you don't have to. There's so many things out there. There's workshops and things like that. So yeah, you don't need an acting degree to make it into the industry.
Superb. Thank you, Aarti. I just see some of those pictures that the producer just played there. I mean,
Yeah.
they look wicked. They look brilliant. I mean, you've done some great theatrical work as well, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. So most of those pictures are from uni. So we had at the end of second year and third year, we have our shows. So I played contrasting characters in those. And then one was a play that I did a few months after I graduated at Theatre 503 as well. Oh, that's a short film that I did at uni to try to get a sort of mix of stage and screen.
Excellent, superb. Not have you done actor. I understand you've done some. You're also. Besides, I don't know how you find the time, but the people say that all the time. But if you've got passion, you find the time to do it. You're also a
Yeah.
radio presenter. Is that right? Tell me a bit more about that,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. So I am a radio presenter for Radio Harrow. It's in the basement of Norfolk Park Hospital. Um, and the reason I sort of wanted to get into radio presenting is I've also wanted to do presenting at some point in my life as well. Again, it complements acting. And I took a year out before going into uni just to focus on my creative side, and I was finding things to do. And at the time, I had a creative friend who said that he did it's all volunteering work at Radio Harrow, and I was like, that sounds really cool. Let me apply. So yeah, I've been there on and off for 4 years. I'm part of the Saturday brunch show. So there's a team of us, and every week we discuss different topics. The unfortunate thing is, the past year we haven't been able to go in, but we did actually do a virtual show a couple of months ago, which was really great. So that's an addition to acting.
Excellent, excellent. I remember what you're talking about there, voluntary. First of all, I'd encourage everyone out there to do voluntary work.
Yeah.
I remember when I was working for a company and they will sponsor you, Jack, to do some sort of community work,
Okay.
and I wanted to be a radio presenter. So I contacted my first ever presentation was with a radio channel called Gateway 97.8, which is based in Basildon, Essex. Anyone can do this. Anyone listening out there can do this. I contacted them and said, I want to be a radio presenter. What experience have you got? I said, I've got none. No experience at all. I'm not experienced. But they said, oh, what we'll do, we'll give you a 15-minute show when you can do. And I said, no, I think I can do more than that. Then they said, can you do an hour? I said, yeah. And I remember when I first went live, it was like the guy at the background was going 3, 2, 1. And I'm thinking, God, I've got no experience. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
And when they said go for it, it was like, welcome everyone to the Inspiration Show, Jag singing. It was like I just with the flow went on. What I found was that the one you learn by tripping. Yeah, I made mistakes. I'm
Sure.
sure you do. I learned mistakes. We got to learn from our mistakes and move on. I made errors. I did this, did that.
Definitely.
But I think experience obviously I think it was some great that in order to become good, become a master in your art, you have to spend hours and hours and
Mm,
hours of practice. And you know what I'm talking about. How many times, like the amount of
yeah.
times you're stood in front of that mirror and practice that rehearsal again and again and again. Am I
Oh
right?
God. Yeah, definitely. And the thing is with that, even very successful actors, they're practicing their craft all the time, and you're told if you do take a break, then you're not going to be as good as you were because you need to constantly be training, yourself. And I actually went to it was a workshop in France a few years ago, and there was a woman I think in her 80s, and she had had lessons from a really well-known theatre practitioner, and we had a session. And at 80 years old, who's been in the industry that long, she was still learning new things. So you always have to keep learning, and again, you learn from your mistakes, and especially with radio, when you make a mistake, I think the best thing to do is highlight that and make it into a funny mistake rather than being like, oh God, I don't know what to do, because then it just makes it a bit more entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, because even now and again, watching news or whatever program watch on TV that's live. I mean, you see
Yeah.
the big guys who the big interviews have been doing it for years, and you see them make a mistake, and it's amazing how they style it out, and kind of or
Mm,
just admit that they made a mistake, and they carry on. I think the secret is that if you're on radio and TV, I'm not sure if you agree or not. If you make a mistake on TV or on radio or even on a theatre show, you just have to kind of like go along with it.
yeah, yeah. Because then you've got to kind of look like you know what you're doing in a sense. You've got to style it, even inside of you panicking. If you look like, oh, brush off, then people will not even notice the mistake as much as you thought they would.
You just can't just stop and say, right, okay, I'm walking off now. It's all gone
Yeah,
wrong. It's
no.
finished. You can't do it as an actor, as a professional actor, a radio presenter, or even on stage. You have to say to yourself, "No, listen,
Mm,
I've got to carry on. I've got to keep
yeah.
going forward." And going back to this amazing Bollywood actor who's been my idol for many years, Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan, I've had so much about Amitabh because I'm just he's just the best. Um, I read a few months ago that even on an interview he said, "I still get nervous up to today." And this is a
Wow.
guy who's
And
hundreds, hundreds of films. He's an idol. Around the world.
yeah.
Even now, when I go on stage, when I'm doing a film scene, I still get nervous.
Mm. It's inspiring to hear that because he's practically the king of Bollywood. I can say what well, one of the kings at least. Everyone knows of him, and it sort of just makes you just think we're all just people. We're all human. It's not like he's because he's this massive actor. He's someone who has all the powers. It's so normal. So many actors get nervous because they just want to prove people and sort of do the best that they can. So it's really inspiring to hear that even Amitabh Bachchan gets nervous sort of all the time.
Yeah, so I think it's about you feel that nervousness, even speakers or public speakers or even going front, you feel this and you have to overcome it and you have to cool. You have to think of the reason why I get over it. So is I think of the passion, and I think to myself,
Mm,
once this is done, I can sit back and say to myself, I did this. And it's
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
when you do your radio presentation, you've done it, and you think, I've done it. When you do your
Yeah,
theatre stuff, I've actually done it. And
exactly.
and I always tell people that if you're going to do something, your heart's got to be in it.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, it won't look genuine. It look like you're just sort of doing it for the sake of it, or if it's forced, you've got to fully go in with it.
Because if you're not passionate about it, you'll mow you down, and you got to think to yourself, why am I doing this? Because I want to become a successful actor, I want to become a successful
Yeah,
radio presenter. Or even I want to send that amazing a message out there, like we're doing Positive Minds, to say to people that you can do it. You can go and
mm,
achieve your dreams. Go forward. Just don't stop. Just keep going. And just like yourself, Artie, because you're on a big pathway to success, and I don't think you're going to stop until you get to the top.
no,
Um,
no.
Artie, I also understand you are the founder of an organisation called South Asian Artists. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that is correct. So that was founded when lockdown started around April time. The idea was behind that was I literally knew about five other South Asian creatives, and I was like, where are my other South Asian creators out there? So I was sort of myself looking for networking Zoom calls or pages, and I didn't really find any myself. Not to say that there's not any out there, because doing South Asian artists, I've seen that they have, but at the time there wasn't. So I was like, and a few other things inspired it. The casting director, Sophie Holland, she did this thing on We Audition, which was one-to-one sessions with actors. And luckily, she did one for Indian actors. And there was a little chat room on the side with about 15 Indian actors. And I was like, this feels so good to be in the room with so many people who typically look like me. Another thing was the South Asian celebrities made that COVID video at the beginning, and I was like, that's amazing, so many South Asian faces in one video. So I was like, right, I need to connect with other South Asian artists. So initially set up some Zoom calls just to sort of introduce people. Thought I'd get about 10 responses and ended up with getting 50. And I was like, oh my God, there's so many of us out there. And yeah, I just sort of set up the Twitter and Instagram pages mainly just to sort of share opportunities and just share people's work. And then the video projects as well, just to sort of empower South Asian creatives. So that's the main idea behind that.
What made you come up with the idea of doing that, of the South Asian artists?
Yeah, just because I didn't really see anything like it. Um, and I wanted to connect with other South Asian creatives, and I wanted to get our work out there, because obviously the lack of representation, as we all know, it's not where it needs to be, and it's improving, but there's so much we can do. So I was like, I want to sort of be the change. If I'm not seeing it, I want to do something to contribute towards it.
Excellent, excellent. I remember in the 1970s, when my aunt Rabinda, my auntie Rabinda, she was the first person in our whole entire family a woman to go and get a job. And I remember the people said to her, "Oh, women don't work. Women, their jobs are in the kitchen, blah 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 blah."
Mm,
And she said, "No." She said, "No, no, no, no. We're in the UK, and we're Westernized society, and a woman can do just anything a man can do." And she
yeah,
got so
for
much stick
sure.
for it. People said, "No, women don't work," and blah blah. And I'm so happy to say that today, in 2021, we're sitting here, and the Asian community women have advanced. They've got part-time jobs, full-time jobs. And would you agree that we've come a long way as an Asian community,
Yeah,
as a woman?
for sure. And I also think that women are also doing more jobs that were seen as stereotypically male jobs. And what I found, not just even in the South Asian arts community, in the South Asian community, there is a lot of sort of female empowerment going on, especially sort of over lockdown. I've seen loads of sessions going on to sort of empower women. So I think it has come a long way, and it is sort of constantly improving, and people are finding new ways to sort of connect and empower women.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. If someone listening out there right now, what is thinking, so, what, I want to become an actor as well. They're watching Positive Minds and seeing you right now on the screen and saying, I want to become an actor as well. What would your advice be to them?
I would say just go for it, because as we were talking about before, if it's something you really really want to do, you will end up doing it. You know, the universe will work in its ways to make sure you do that. But I would say it is, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it is tough. There is a lot of rejection. You've got to have that kind of thick skin to be like, do you know what, that job wasn't me. It's not necessarily because I'm a bad actor, it's just because so many reasons. I remember that there's so many reasons why you may not get a job. But and sort of the way to get into it, obviously this is just me, you can sort of take it or leave it, somebody else may say something different. I'd say the main way to sort of break into the industry would be starting with workshops, because that way you get a taste of the industry and then you are sort of connecting with people. A lot of it is with who you know, so do try start making those connections with people that you do know as well, and yeah, start getting a showreel together, go to workshops. Yeah, that's sort of the main thing.
I mean, we're lucky. We live in a time now where we got so much social media going on and
Yeah,
network networking.
yeah,
You know, we've got Twitter, we've got Facebook. I mean, if anyone out there is thinking of becoming an actor or a writer or whatever, I think people just need to reach out. We need to
mm,
utilize these amazing resources we've got. I mean, we're living in a time where you can actually follow a great writer or follow yourself, and you know, and people
yeah.
can ask you, say, how do you do it? What advice can you give me? You know, Aarti, you know, during your journey that you've taken, have you faced in the United Kingdom? Have you faced any sort of prejudice?
Hmm. That's an interesting, because I can't sort of think of direct prejudice that I faced. However, there is that overarching stereotypes of roles. Sort of, I have had a few casting where it's been the titles been things like Indian girl or something that is specific to my race. And I think that I've been in conversations with other creatives, and we are trying to break out of the idea that we do want more roles that isn't just to do with our race. You know, there is so much more that we can do. But I have spoken to other people, and especially in March, there was a lot that came out about the top drama schools
Yeah,
facing a lot of prejudices in theirs. Luckily, in mine, I didn't face any, but you know there are
excellent, excellent,
prejudice out there.
super. Super, Aarti, listen, the producer just telling me we've got 2 minutes left, and you know what? We
Oh
could go on
wow! Oh my
talking.
god!
Right, don't worry
The
about it.
time
So listen,
already.
in everything you're doing, okay? And thank you so much for coming on Positive Minds today. Superb. So there you have it, guys, on Positive Minds. Aarti Shah sharing a great experience with us. And listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Keep smiling and keep moving forward. That's what the show's about, Positive Minds, okay? So keep smiling and keep moving forward, and I'll see you next time. Why would you go, Khalsa? Why would you give that there?